Run the Fade. Welcome back, everybody, to Run the Fade. We are back again. Does this work? Let me know if you guys hear clapping. If you don't hear clapping, that means this shit did not work. And that sucks. All right, let's start off by saying hello to the live chat. Vida Maravilla, always a pleasure. Pues ya te digo tú. Cervantes Enterprise in the house. Ubaldo Ortiz. Michael Rosas. Thank you, everybody that has come tonight to join me. I know it's a Friday night. I know people are out. People want to go out. People are getting ready to go out. But maybe you guys decided to, you know what? Let me stay home, chill. Let me see how much BS Norbis can pull out of his ass, which is a good amount. And I'm okay to say that. So as you guys saw by the title reads, I already forgot what it said. How Mexican culture influenced jazz and hip hop. No clapping. Okay, thank you to the Jedi for letting me know that you guys couldn't hear that clap. So now that just makes me sad because I really thought I had it in there. Let me see. I want to see if I could add it right now. Using these things, it's interesting. It's always very interesting to figure out if things work or not. Like, let's see. I added this. Let's see if you could hear it. Again, that was the clapping. I didn't see anything on my thing that shows that you guys were actually able to hear that. Nope. Yet again. Okay, hold on. Let me see. My apologies again. I just want to make sure that actually works when I play it because I like to have my some sound effects. Some, not a lot, but some. Because something makes a difference, you know? All right, let's see. Let me see. I could add that in there. My apologies. Let's see. I don't even know if that's supposed to be there, but okay, everything's. That's a lot of crap. Let's see. There's the Mac OS capture. Let's see if I could put it on here. All right, and it says inactive, but I mean, it should technically run, but we'll see. I know I'm jabbering right now, and I'm not making any sense, but all right, well, I'll figure that another day. On to the topic at hand. So, again, the title was how Mexican culture influenced jazz and hip hop. And I got to be very careful of how I say this because, you know, a lot of other people have recklessly tried to use Mexican culture as a way to win arguments over how we paid to make hip hop relevant or popular or even in the economy. Shout out, yeah, man. Yeah, my bad if I butchered it. Sorry, man. My apology. If you guys didn't see my live, I did a live. I did like almost a 4-hour live with him. Yes, last night, which was really cool. If you haven't followed his channel, make sure to do so. He does have episodes where he actually teaches you how to speak Nawa. If you had any interest or curiosity over how you will go about it, definitely check out his channel for that. Aside from that, what else? So go watch it if you haven't watched it. It's pretty long, but it's very interesting. Okay, thank you for doing that. Kiyawi, Kiyawi. It's that last part that gets me. My bad, man. My apologies. All Red Dog, what's up? Okay, so lately I've been seeing on the internet a lot of brown people, a lot of black people going back and forth. Who owns hip hop? Who does it belong to? Who has rights to it? Who doesn't have rights to it? My own personal opinion is that it definitely, for me, anyways, a lot of it belongs to the black community. They were part of it. They were there from the get go. Some could argue that there were Puerto Ricans there, which, as far as I know, there were Puerto Ricans there. But that was the building of hip hop. So I would definitely say a lot of it is definitely theirs, if not all, and a handful of Puerto Ricans that just happened to be there also, that were also part of that whole community that was building that movement. A lot of it has to do, a lot of its roots, I want to say, as far as music, would have to be gospel and jazz. Gospel, not too much. I mean, you could see gospel going more towards R&B, soul music, Motown, even. But hip hop has a lot more roots when it comes to jazz music, when it comes to expressing yourself in that manner, as they do in jazz. So, that being said, you're wondering why I titled it the way I titled it. And I did that because, I've always wondered, I've always known a lot of the history, like how it went about, that during that time there was a lot of racism. The only time you'll ever see a black person on stage is if they were playing music or they were working there. Let's face it, a lot of Mexicans can relate to that. You're either performing or you're working in there. We do have very similar things as far as our culture. Music, I could say music. We definitely went a different route, and we have the bandas, we have the mariachis. Shout out El Boo, shout out West Carson, Risky Business. Um, we definitely went our own lane as far as music. We didn't really jump into hip hop, like hip hop, till later on in the future when it came to jazz. I would say around the 90s, the actually I want to say the mid 80s to late 80s. That's when Mexicans actually started like delving into it. Even Cubans, Puerto Rican. Shout out HCP Chemistry. What up? So I wanted to see. Well, I didn't want to see. I saw that a lot of it had to do with aside from the music when it came to jazz. One key element that was always there when it came to jazz and when it came to hip hop, and that element is cannabis. Cannabis is definitely one of the main elements from jazz. You could go back and see any interview from back then. You can see any jazz musician that would credit cannabis as a way to either medicate themselves or even improve their art form, improve the way they write music, improve the way they sing it. But one would say, okay, so where would they have gotten this from? Where did the black community during that time learn about cannabis? And let's see if I could pull this up. Let's see. 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 If I could pull this up. Let's see And this is from the source is from PBS. Oddly enough, let me see if I could. All right, there we go. All right, let me see if I could bring up this. Hopefully, it works. We're gonna do a little research here. So, as you can see right here in this article that I am looking at, like in the 16 to 1890s, you can see here that it was a domestic production of hemp encouraged. Well, back in around that time, the U.S. or the colonies were using hemp as a way to make rope because it was already there. It grew very quickly. It didn't need a lot of help. They were able to use the plant to make rope, make clothes. They had a lot of uses for it. They even use it for some medication. Now, the most important part about this is for me is the early 1900s, which indicates Mexican immigrants introduced recreational use of marijuana leaf. Mind you, just for to say it, this is all for research and history. This it has nothing to do with me distributing or selling any kind of, you know, drugs. So this is all for educational purposes. I don't want YouTube to get mad at me. All right, so Mexican immigrants introduced recreational use of marijuana leaf. After the Mexican Revolution of 1910, Mexican immigrants flooded into the U.S. You know, it's funny, and I want to say something about this part. It says flooded into the U.S. How are you going to flood into the U.S. when you were already there? So I just want to make sure and clarify that it didn't get flooded by Mexican immigrants. There were already Mexicans here in the U.S. The U.S. just created a border that automatically will make it that. So early 1900s, the Mexicans were the ones that were using cannabis as a recreational ingredient. That was Mexican culture. Shout out to Miss Chicano too. That was Mexican culture. As far as cannabis, we brought that here. We used it. We made it part of our culture. Because anybody that's ever smoked it, anybody that's ever done it, would say it relaxes you. It makes you really think outside the box sometimes, or it inspires you. There's a lot of uses for it, a lot of recreational and medicinal purposes for it. Now, this was the early 1900s. Jazz did not come out till the 1930s. So for a good 30 years, you had a lot of Mexicans that were just smoking weed, smoking cannabis on the streets. It didn't become illegal till let's see, where was it? I want to say by 1932, where concerns about the rising use of marijuana and research linking in use with crime and social problems created pressure of the federal government to take action. Rather than promoting federal legislation, the Federal Bureau of Narcotics strongly encouraged state government to accept responsibility for control of the problem by adopting the Uniform State Narcotic Act. So around this time, they started pushing that whole narrative of reefer madness and Mexicans become violent because they smoke a lot of cannabis, that they do craziness because of it. So basically, the whole purpose is just to put us in jail, take away our cannabis, and just have that much more over us. But when we go back in time, and I hope you guys could hear this, you guys let me know. And I want to play this video for you guys. I don't know why the whole thing isn't showing there, but you know what? Let me fix that for you guys. Because I wanted to show you this video. It has to do with jazz and weed. I think you can see it by the title. Give me 1 second here. There we go. All right. Give me 1 second. Let me transform this guy right here. Because it's huge. And it won't let me do it. Okay, hold on. That is interesting. Gonna disappear right now. Okay, give me a second, guys. I gotta readjust this thing so it fits the whole page and you guys can see it. All right, there we go. Now the title of this, you can look it up on YouTube if you want. It's called High Society dash Pot and Jazz. Okay. Now let me know. I'm gonna play the first 10 seconds. You guys let me know if you could actually hear it.
Birth. Isn't that right?
Totally.
Okay,
yeah.
tell us a little bit about the birth of jazz.
Well, in New Orleans, you know, in brothels, basically, that's where everybody wanted to go.
I just played about 5 seconds of it. Let me know in the live chat if you could actually hear it. Jedi, if you're on there, also send me a text and let me know if you heard that part. Otherwise, I am going to have to fix that part again. Let me know in the live chat if you guys heard that. All right now. What makes you that's a good point. I will definitely answer that. But let me know if you guys heard that little clip right now. You're 0 point when I take calls, you better be calling. You gotta let me play before you start assuming. Like Risky Business says, when you start assuming, you make an ass out of yourself, or you risk making an ass out of yourself. I don't know. Risky Business. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. So I did play a small clip. I just want to make sure that you guys actually heard that, because if you didn't, I gotta make sure you could. Carlos, you said yes. Let me get a double confirmation for somebody, so I could continue. I want to make sure you guys can actually hear it. All right, let me make sure. Maybe I gotta turn this one on too. Okay, I have 2 confirmations that you guys were actually able to hear it. Okay, so I'm gonna play the rest of it.
Well, in New Orleans, you know, in brothels, basically, that's where everybody wanted to go. It was where everybody had the most fun, right? So we want to have a good time. It was all there. It's part of that culture and stuff. And
isn't it true that Louis Armstrong in Storyville, all that reefer smoking was taking place?
From the time he was 14, every day of his life.
Let's see.
He learned the trumpet there. So
he was busted.
Yeah, more or less.
For plotting 31, I think it was.
Yeah.
31.
Apart from his trumpet, Armstrong always carried 2 products on these trips. One was Swiss Chris.
One of the things that Louis swore by was laxative. Now, Swiss Chris is an herbal laxative, and actually you can still get it, and it's a very legitimate, made up of a variety of herbs, or oibs, as Louis used to call
Everybody
it.
singing that rock, 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 rock and roll from the east to the west, from coast to the coast.
He used to lay some of that on everybody, you know. Sometimes he'd make a tea out of it, you know. If you made a tea and you drank the tea, if the bathroom's from here to where you sitting, sometimes you didn't make it. You know, that's how ferocious it was.
The other was marijuana, pot, as it was then known.
He considered it a tonic. It was something that was very important to his health. He started using it when he came to Chicago in the 1920s and used it throughout his life. It's an uncomfortable fact for many people who want to see him in kind of a pristine state, but he certainly didn't see himself that way.
Louis' whole day was planned with the show in mind. He'd go to bed. Before he went to bed, he'd take a double dose of Swiss Chris. When he got up in the morning, he'd roll a joint, go to the toilet, get high, and as he used to say, leave it all behind you.
Now, tell me, people, tell me that doesn't remind you of your cousin, or your brother, a relative that you know are potheads. Tell me that part right there. It doesn't remind you of them. His routine hasn't changed since back then. They still do. They did it back then. They're still doing it today.
We did call ourselves vipers, which could have been anybody from all walks of life that smoked and respected gauge. You know, that's what we called it at that time. You know.
See, blue reefer man, referring to cannabis.
In those days, that was our cute little name, marijuana. And it was
marijuana.
misdemeanor in those days, much different from the pressure.
Don't you make me high.
Charges the law lays on a guy who smokes pot. Pot is the later name, which is cute to hear nowadays. We always looked at pot as a kind of a medicine, you know?
Medicine, which is exactly the things that we were using it for. Medicine. It is still medicine. It helps many people out as far as in the medicinal manner. But you can see how it helped out like one of the greatest jazz musicians if in all of history, and how it affected their music. I mean, they named songs after it.
Yeah, at the time we discussed it anyway. I mean, enemy, plastic shit.
Now, I don't want to sound I don't want to make fun of my own people, but notice here how the reefer man is a short guy, while the brother and sister right here are very. It's beautiful when you think how the music changed this man's life, and even cannabis being part of his life. I mean, look at him. He has a picture of him playing his trumpet right next to the pyramid and the Sphinx. That's wild.
You just don't, shit. Well, anyhow, I had to put it down. But the respect for kids will stay with me forever. I have every reason to say these words. And I am proud to say them from experiences, if no more.
In 1930, Lewis went to Los Angeles and headlined at Sebastian's Cotton Club, where he won the admiration of numerous Hollywood stars. The trip ended in calamity.
And I want to say this part is this is the interesting part, because in this part you could hear Louis Armstrong actually acknowledge that, cannabis is a Mexican thing.
However, when he was arrested for smoking marijuana in his car with a white musician between sets. A shady manager from Chicago had his sentence reduced to a few weekends in jail, but Armstrong, who called pot an insulator against the pain of racism, continued to smoke it all his life.
Every night on intermissions, I would, go out and roll up a couple of joints of good Mexican grass. So
that's definitely not Louis Armstrong, but that is the guy that was with him. But you notice how they refer to it as Mexican grass. Let me play that for you guys again.
Every night on intermissions, I would, go out and roll up a couple of joints of good Mexican grass. So, Auburn Pops was out there,
That's Dexter Gordon, tenor.
And he would come out with what he would call his New Orleans Golden Leaf, which is very, very sad. It was terrible. Did nothing. So funny thing happened when, after a couple of weeks I noticed, every time I was in a mission, I'd go outside, and Pops would be there, sitting on the garden wall or the tree, whatever we had available. And so finally one night I asked him, I said, Pops, I said, listen, I noticed the last couple of weeks you don't come out with your New Orleans Golden Leaf anymore, He said, shit, son.
All right, so that was the site with the information about Mexicans, introducing that to the U.S. as far as using cannabis as a recreational purpose. So what I'm not saying here is that we took part in creating hip hop or jazz. What I am saying here is that the Mexican culture at the time when those things were being created, we were always there as far as a cultural purpose. We introduced cannabis use to the world, to the U.S. The black community started using cannabis from us, from the Mexicans, which in turn helped them when it came to creating, when it came to coming up with music. Not saying that they could have done it without it, but as you can see historically, it had a big part in it. Cannabis is Mexican culture. Cannabis use is Mexican culture. The black community adopted that part of our culture. And even up to hip hop, everybody and anybody that had something to do with hip hop were cannabis users. They all had cannabis. They all smoked it. They all rapped about it. They continue to title their tracks or even their albums after cannabis. You have the Chronic from Dr. Dre. Now, for Mexicans, we didn't use it to. I mean, we use it to relax. We use it to laugh, chill. Basically, just chill. This is why we used it. They started using it when they saw that we were really cool. We were really chill using it. So they, I'm sure somehow, some way, they asked for it. They got it. They started telling each other, and cannabis was a big part of jazz. Cannabis what is a big part of hip hop. So one could argue, oh, the Mexicans buy the tickets for you guys to have money and make a career out of this. In all honesty, who gives a fuck about the money? All these guys, they never really did it in the beginning for money. All these guys did it because it was an outlet to express themselves, to say what was on their minds, to be part of something, as far as I see. Another person could say, oh, the Jews own it. The European American, I'm sorry, the European Americans, yes, that's it. The European Americans own it also. Nobody cares about that. I would always say hip hop belongs to them, jazz belongs to them. But what I would say is that Mexican culture definitely played a part as far as influencing the way they created that music. Because you could see it anywhere, any YouTube video, any research you do, cannabis was always there. And cannabis was brought to the US by us, by Mexicans. And I want to make sure that that is credited, because I do see a lot of people in the black community that say Mexicans have nothing to do with it. It was all blacks. And mind you, like I said, they definitely were the ones that wrote it. They're definitely ones that mixed it. They're definitely the ones that, made it happen. But we were there the whole time. Our culture was there the whole time through cannabis. And this is why I tell people, we might have not shown that we did a lot of changes in this world, but we definitely helped guide this world. And cannabis is definitely one of the ways that we help U.S. society, U.S. culture evolve. Because I'm sure all of you guys that are watching know that cannabis has played a big role in government, in society, and culture. But at the end of the day of all of that, who introduced that to the U.S. society, government, everything? The Mexicans did. That was their culture. And they definitely deserve credit as far as affecting the way other cultures, created. So some people could argue, well, that grows everywhere. It doesn't belong to you guys. You could say that. But at the end of the day, we brought it here. We smoked it. We saw you guys here take a hit. You guys liked it too. And you guys started making beautiful music. So as far as taking some sort of credit, yeah, I would say we could definitely take that as part of our contribution to jazz, hip hop, country. We definitely took even rock and roll. We were always there. Our culture was always there. We affected it. We helped evolve it. I mean, look, you even have the Rastafarian stuff. You got all that other music, everything affected by cannabis. But you got to give credit where credit is due, and that is a Mexican culture. I mean, some people would say, nah, you're stretching. But ask yourself, where would all these musicians be if that cannabis wasn't there? If they couldn't name their albums and their tracks after it? Where would they be? Would it still be the same? I doubt that. And again, I'm not trying to take credit from them. I just want to make sure that our culture is credited for introducing this to their world, because cannabis was and was always part of our world. And that's my argument. Anybody can tell me I'm wrong. If you want to tell me, let me know. But as far as I can tell, history tells you where things are at. And it showed that we're the ones that brought that here. We're the ones that introduced it. And everybody else just picked up on it and used it. And they used it very well. I mean, look at Joe Rogan, biggest podcaster. That guy smokes a bunch of weed. Where would Joe Rogan be without it? That's how much of an impact our culture makes in this whole society, this whole world here, the U.S. We affect it in different ways. We're not the ones that create that stuff, but we're the ones that affect it through our culture, through our ways. So that's pretty much the argument that I wanted to put out there. I don't think it's an argument. I just want to say it's an acknowledgement to our culture, because I have been seeing a lot of people, say our only contribution to like hip hop is that we made a Chicano rap, and it doesn't even sound right to them. But again, that's not where we started with hip hop or with jazz. Because in all reality, our culture did affect their culture and help them to create something beautiful. So I would definitely not take that away from them. But I would definitely say that we definitely had a hand from our culture to affect their culture. Aside from that, I'm gonna put up the number, and I want somebody to tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm right, or if they think something else. Let me see. Let me connect this first, because it's very important to me that I acknowledge what our culture has done for society. And I know this one right here played a big part in American society, in American culture. And it deserves to be acknowledged. Mexican culture did definitely affect jazz and hip hop. Even to this day, you see hip hop artists that have to smoke weed, have to have a title of cannabis in their tracks or their albums. They have to have a big giant bag of it. But at the end of the day, yes, that is our culture, and we're okay with everybody else using it. Nobody's a guest. All right, guys. Let's see. You're not going to be able to see that. There we go. Put it right there. All right, guys. The lines are open. Let me know if I'm wrong, if I'm right, or maybe you see it in another way. I know there's a guy over there that was complaining that I was using two white guys to explain. But until then, let's read the live chat because I know it's going. All right, let's start up with Javi Cabez 13, fake basic average. Okay, fuck your feelings. Saludos, Norbert. Saludos to you. Clarissa Turcios. He smoked more than Be Real and Snoop. Damn. Oh, never know. Risky business. They smoking Caro Quintero grass. Eric Villalobos used as Chinese medicine. Eric Villalobos, and you know what? I'm glad he mentioned that because there is records of the Chinese using it, not using it in a recreational manner, but just burning it, possibly for medicinal purposes. But as far as recreational use, there is no evidence that the Chinese ever used it as a recreational, thing. Let's see. Clarissa Turcio, no such thing as FBA. FBA is just people embarrassed of their African roots. Ouch. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. Africa, and this is why I don't understand. I mean, and no disrespect to African Americans or FBA people, but Africa is a beautiful place. It's probably one of the biggest continents in this world, and full of natural resources. The only thing that most of us get to see are the crappy parts about it, where there might be a fucking some big dictator fucking chopping off hands, and the city where a lot of shit's going down, women getting acid thrown in their faces, horrible shit. That's literally all they show us here in the States. But when you talk to somebody that's from Africa, which I have, they tell me no, that's like a drop in the bucket. There's so much more to Africa. But they here in the US, they only show us the bad stuff. Let's see. Clarissa Turcio. Okay, no. Our Red Dog. Nope. Let's see. Carlos, the Mexicans sold them the weed. Well, that's why I paused there. You noticed that in that picture. Let's see. I don't think I could bring it up again, but you saw that the guy that was selling the reefer was a very short guy compared to the other guy. Let's see. Hater Ranker Adam 16 is a terrorist. He really is. Our Red Dog. Marvelous said there's Afro Indians and there's like Mexico. Okay, we got to call. Caller, your name? Where are you calling from? Oh crap! You know what? That's what I forgot to do was connect that to the roadcaster. My bad, caller. There you go. All right, cool. Right, that's cool. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Javi Cabez 13. You know what? They say that about us too. So, Clarissa Turcio, black rappers on the West Coast, all they do is Mexican culture, from lowriders, the Dickies, and flannels. You know what's interesting about that though? That even the Japanese are doing that also. They're adopting the Mexican culture as far as lowriders, as far as Dickies, as far as even the language. I think it's the same guy, but let me make sure.
Thank you for using call.
See, I knew it was that guy. Let me see. I think that was a prank caller. Let's see. There we go. All right, let's go back to the live chat. Yeah, but okay, Hater Ranker. Yeah, but come on, blacks and Northeast were not influenced by Mexicans. Again, I'm not saying they were influenced by Mexicans. I'm saying that the Mexican culture influenced them. Caller, your name? Where are you calling from? Caller.
Yeah, Northeast.
Hey, Cuba, man. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. What's your stuff?
Good. Let the people know who you are and where you calling from.
My name is Javier Cuevas.
Eso todo. All right, man.
Downey, California, homie.
That's right.
Downey, California.
That's right. All right,
You
man.
know what they call Downey, California out there?
No, what do they call it?
Downey, California is called the Mexican Beverly Hills in Southern California.
You know what? Yeah, I get it because you guys have those like mini mansions over there.
No, it's not that you get it. Look it up. Google it right now. Google Downey, California, and then you're gonna find Mexican Beverly Hills. Guess what?
Yeah.
Because there's a shitload of raza of money over here that want to move over here.
Oh, I thought it was because you guys had all those little mansions over there.
That's not what it is, bro. You know what it is?
Yeah.
It's our the way of living and our schooling.
You know, that's funny. I was typing in Downey and then Mexican, and then the search it popped out Downey Mexican Beverly Hills by itself.
From Downey, California. Hey, but you know what? Hey, but there's a lot of motherfuckers that want to come over here.
It's a nice place. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful place.
Come on, dog. Hey, look, tell everybody that wants to come over here and have their quinceañera photos. Tell them where to go. Ask everybody where they go.
Where to go?
They go right next to my house, dog.
What?
Hell yeah, it's the best part.
Well, what is that place? What's it called? What's it called?
Look it up, fool. Hey, look it up, man. Hey, before you gotta look it up, dog.
I'm already looking it up, but what's that place called where you say take all the pictures?
It's called Wilderness Park, dog.
Wilbur?
Wilderness.
Okay, hold on. Wilderness Park. Okay, I see Downey Wilderness Park. Oh, that is pretty.
Nah, fool, that shit's been upgraded like a motherfucker, bro. Hey, look, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
The Mexicans that live over here, the Mexicans and the Hispanics that live in this city, have already taken over the city, right?
Yeah.
And we're about fucking 90% of the Hispanics that come over, that live in the city.
Yeah.
Right? And about 70% of them are Mexican.
Yeah.
And we live in a beautiful city, though.
It is a beautiful city, man. I've been there. It's really
beautiful
nice.
City.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't see too many of the Mexicans out there, so it's hard for me to tell who's actually living there.
Well, if you ever want to come over here, we have the best of everything. You don't have to leave this city for nothing.
All right.
This city is a Mexican metropolis.
What's the
Everybody that wants to come over here.
What's the Mexican restaurant that you would recommend in Downey?
The Mexican restaurant that I would recommend Downey?
Yes.
All right. If you want to have tacos and Mexican, Don Goyos.
No, sit down. Sit down where they give you chips and salsa for free.
Man, you can find those all kinds of. There's a lot of them over here, dog.
But which ones would be like the one that, you know what? Hey, let's get the whole family. Let's go eat that restaurant.
A Mexican place?
Yeah, where you could sit down. It's chill. They got the covers on the table. They probably have some mariachi music.
No, cool. Nah, we don't need all that. Mexicans don't need all that. Okay? My Mexican is happy we're going to fucking Norms, dog. Okay?
I like Norms. Hey, shout out Norms.
Listen. We're going to go visit all the Mexican places that I visit at, but I'm going to go fucking have some breakfast at Norms.
All right.
Okay?
All right. Good shit. What do you get at Norms? What do you get at Norms?
Fucking the basic fucking the breakfast, baby. The breakfast, baby.
For the morning? All right.
The breakfast.
All right. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm not.
What you talking about, homie?
Burgers for the morning. Wow. I gotta tell you, man, that's a little heavy for me in the morning.
I didn't say burgers, food. I said biscuits, motherfucker.
I thought you said burgers. I was like, damn, bro. You're eating it like that in the morning.
I said biscuits. biscuits.
Biscuits. All right. Biscuits. All right, that's what's up. So, okay, so after breakfast at Norton's, what are we doing for lunch?
My wife likes the biscuits with that stuff that they put on top of it, that white butter. Anyways, for lunch, you know what I have for lunch, homie? I'm having lunch at Nelly's, dog.
You're having
lunch?
You said Nelly's?
Nelly's. It's called Nelly's. Yeah.
Okay. I think I saw somebody mention another restaurant, El Pescador.
Oh, yeah, El Pescador. If you want to spend like $50 for fucking one person at a fucking lunch.
So that's the spot for the...
Look, dog. Compa.
Yes.
We're talking about, these type of days where motherfuckers have to spend $50 for a whole family. Not $50 for one person.
Okay, I got you.
Let's go to Nelly's. Let's have a nice lunch. And if you want to go to dinner, there's all kinds of places. You want to do bougie? You can go to fucking downtown Downey. You can be bougie. You have some steak, that bullshit. There's a place called fucking, it's kind of gay. Like, all the gays, all the fucking homosexuals go there. I can't know what the place is. Nah, they have their shit going. But, hey, dog, but if you want to go to fucking, downtown Downey, you go to, Stevens or whatever the fuck is called. Hey, dog, you go right there. Yep.
Stevens, that a steak place? You have to leave
Downey for nothing, dog.
Stevens, steak?
Hey, wait.
Yeah.
Oh, Stevens. Oh, my God. My goodness.
Okay.
My goodness.
Now, wait.
Hey, wait.
Now you know which restaurant I want to go visit in Downey, right?
Which one?
You know which one.
I know which one, though.
You know which one.
I know which one.
All right. Now, where's the best place for that over there in Downey?
I know which one, fool.
You don't know which one?
No, I know which one.
Okay, so which one is the best one in Downey?
I already know you, fool. Anyway, I already know it, dog.
Yes, sir. You know it.
Hey, wait.
Yeah.
Hey, man. I'll meet you there, though.
That's right.
Peace out, brother.
I appreciate you, man. Because everybody knows if I go to a city, I got to go check out your Taco Bell. That's it. That's the first place. There you go. The Lattice knows it. I got to check out the Taco Bell. I just got to go. That's my spot. That's always been my spot. I noticed that lately there's been a lot of European Americans that have been shouting it out, and I got a lot of Mexicans that are really hating on it. With that narrative, it's not Mexican food. It is Mexican food. You know what? Actually, you know what? Now that I'm actually on the computer right here, let me. You know what? I'll do one even better. Hold on. Let's end this argument already. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Before I start that, let me set it all up because I need you guys to watch this with me, so at least you guys that are watching can understand what I'm trying to say here. Because this is very important to me. It's very important to my argument. Even though it shouldn't be one. But let's give it a listen.
Small Mexican restaurant in a small California city.
Look, listen to what she
It's
said.
a small Mexican restaurant in a small California city. But Lilia Luciano tells us its legacy can be found across the country and around the world.
And it's funny that the name of it is mitla, which is a word for Mexica, and it's actually the name of ruins in Oaxaca.
Along Old Route 66 in San Bernardino, California, sits one extraordinary family kitchen.
I remember it almost as an extension of my grandmother's kitchen or my grandmother's house.
This is it right here. This is exactly how it's been done here since 1937.
Mike Montaño is the co-owner of...
And again, my last pause, but again, like I said, Mexican culture affects society. This being another perfect example of how Mexican culture affects the culture.
Mitla Café, opened by his grandmother, Doña Lucia Rodriguez, in 1937.
It's where I would see her most frequently. It was where I saw family most frequently. And to me, it was not a restaurant. It was not a business. It was just part of what made my family who they were.
After immigrating from her native Mexico in 1928, Rodriguez opened Mitla Café to quite literally feed her family and her growing neighborhood.
It was like during the Depression, so she knew what it was like to be hungry. And she told my mother the reason that she was opening up the restaurant is because she didn't want any of her family members to go hungry.
Patty Oquendo is also one of her grandkids and the general manager.
What is this place like now? Who comes in here?
It's like generational customers, sons and daughters of people that used to come here.
We come like every other Sunday. We come down after we get out of church.
What's the tradition with having menudo on Sundays? Hangover.
And
I hope this works. Does this work? I don't even know if you guys heard that hand clap, but yeah.
Enter through these old doors, and the lines that divide us disappear almost as fast as their famous chile relleno on a hot plate.
Oof.
State senators, congressmen, everyone comes here.
A place to be seen.
It's a place to eat.
And Montaño says one particular customer in the 1950s got more than just the tacos to go.
The legend, as I know it, across the street was a burger stand called Bell's Burgers, and
check that out, 15 cents for a hot dog. Guy was rude. I don't know. That sounds expensive for me for the 1930s. 20 cents for a hamburger. But yeah.
The owner, Glenn Bell, saw that my grandparents had a line to purchase tacos. At the time, I think they were 25 cents each. And he wanted to understand this food item and why people liked it so much and why it was so popular. My grandparents kind of understood what he was doing, and they wanted to help him.
And so Glenn Bell, armed with Doña Lucia's beloved hard-shell taco recipe, launched Taco Bell.
What does the family say about that?
That's what I'm saying, people. This is Mexican culture affecting American culture, U.S. culture. One way or another, we're in it. I mean, the European Americans can easily say, no, we invented Taco Bell. That was our thing. You guys just happen to be guests in it. They could easily say that. And they would have that right to do so. But at the end of the day, our culture affected them, gave them ideas, helped them create. There would be no Taco Bell without Mexican food.
Everybody's been fairly philosophical. I don't want people to feel like they weren't successful or that they were.
All right, guys, we have a phone call. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Norby.
Yes, sir.
Hey, compa. Disculpa. I'm sorry. Am I still calling for the same thing?
Yeah. What do you mean?
The whole Mexican thing?
What?
The whole Mexican thing?
The whole Mexican dude. Oh, no. This is Run the Fade talking about how Mexican culture affects U.S. culture.
Yes, sir. I called earlier. You called on. I'm not sure if I remember, but anyways, Mexican food, Taco Bell originated from hamburger stands right there in Buffalo. Remember, it was from Downey, cabrón.
Well, are you watching the video that we've been watching?
Yeah, look, Taco Bell originated from a hamburger stand, originated from Bell's Drive-In,
yes.
which Glenville opened in San Bernardino, California, 48. Bill later changed the name to Taco Tia, and then opened the first Taco Bell restaurant in Downey, California in 1962.
Yeah. You're right, because I saw the picture of that Taco Bell, and that is the anything I want to say the oldest one.
Hey, dude. So, as you know, as you already know, I live in Downey, right? So, I live on Florence, right?
Yes.
So, every morning that I wake up, the oldest McDonald's still standing is in Downey, California.
Yeah. Is that one with like one arch, right? One like super tall arch.
Yeah. And there's always a bunch of fucking Latinos and a bunch of fucking Asians there, always standing there, and they're always taking stupid ass photos. Yeah, so I swear to God, I dropped my daughter off at down the high school, and these fucking white people are like, oh my God! Look at the first fucking McDonald's being built. Like it's a fucking, oh my God, like they won the lottery, dog.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, man. Yeah, you know what? I actually like them because it reminds us like we fucking take these things for granted, but these things affected American society.
I know we do, bro. Look, I know we do, but look, I'm gonna tell you one thing.
Yeah.
My daughter studied in Spain, and then I got to study, and then I got to travel like Europe, and I went to fucking the European. I got to do all this bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And then I saw the French. What's that? The Eiffel Tower, right? Eiffel Tower.
Oh, okay, yeah. Austin Powers. I forgot his.
The Eiffel Tower, right? Eiffel Tower, right?
Oh no, I forgot the name.
And then I was like, "Hey, fuck this dude!" And then I went. There is nothing special about it. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm here." I took a picture. There you go. I'm out.
I think I would feel the same way if I went there also.
It was fucking ridiculous, dog. I got there and I'm like, what the fuck's special about this shit? Nothing. Vámonos. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, peace.
There you have it, guys. Another fun fact that the oldest Taco Bell is in Downey.
Taken advantage of or anything like that.
The generosity rippled beyond the treasures of the kitchen. Through the years, Mitla served as a gathering spot for community organizing, even earning its place in the history of the fight for civil rights.
Look at that, Cesar Chavez.
One of the most important stories that I know about was the meeting of different community organizations that helped to desegregate public swimming pools in San Bernardino. There were days of the week that Mexican kids of Mexican descent, could not swim in the local swimming pools.
And another story about that happened here in Boyle Heights also, where the people that would run the public pools, they wouldn't allow Mexican kids to swim in there until the day before they would clean up the pool. So whenever that day would come, that day before that, they'll allow Mexican kids to jump into the pool after it's already been like dirtied up by the other European American kids. That was fucked up. Cool part is that actually began protests and a what's that other word? I'm totally lost with words. A boycott of using that pool. So a lot of Mexican kids didn't show up that day, which they didn't make any money, and they kept it going until the city actually changed the rules and made sure that Mexican kids were allowed to swim in those pools every day that other kids, which is mostly European American kids, can't swim. Let's carry on.
Meetings led to a court case and decision which desegregated all California parks and pools, a precursor for Brown versus Board of Ed.
that was the importance that they placed on this restaurant, was that it was not just a place to serve food, but it was a place for people to meet, to talk, to share ideas, and to move our community forward.
What's going on here?
This is our own ranchero chili verde sauce that we make here.
Despite Meatla's reputation for generosity, there is one thing they won't share.
And this is the secret one that goes on the tacos or any of our other dishes.
The recipe for their taco sauce.
Our most secret recipe, there are 3 people right now who can make it, including myself. And we try not to ride in a car together.
For everything else, the door stays open. The tortillas are served fresh, and the welcome warm as ever.
It's always been about having the same spirit that my grandmother instilled in this place in 1937. We'll come to my home, share a meal, and we'll see you next time.
See, guys, so when I say how important it is to recognize that Taco Bell is Mexican food, because it really is. It is Mexican food. It's based off a restaurant that has changed our culture here in Southern California and even in the U.S. for the most part, because it was definitely Mexican Americans, Chicanos, that started off the changes as far as the way colored people were treated. Like, we started, our people that were here before us, they're the ones that started the base, the foundation for the stopping of segregated schools. That they didn't want it, and they fought the courts, they fought the state to stop segregation here locally, which, as we all know, went beyond that and created a movement that also affected another movement from the Black community to also fight for that same movement. So basically, when people say Mexicans didn't do anything for U.S. culture, they didn't add to it, they had nothing to do with it, you're wrong. You're wrong because you don't do your research, you don't care enough to do it, and you're more than willing to make yourself look bad by not knowing these facts, because our people have always been a revolutionary type of people. We always want things to be fair, and when they're not fair, that's when we start fighting. And when we start fighting, that's when we start making changes. As of late, there hasn't been a real cause, a real reason for us to come back together to fight. All right, we have another caller. Caller, your name, where are you calling from?
Hey, no beef.
Hey, what's up, man? You got in third time, huh?
Is this Cannabis?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Norby, how are you?
Good, and yourself?
I'm doing well, brother.
Good to hear, man. Did you watch the video?
Excuse me?
Did you watch the video that I was showing just now?
Yes, sir. I did watch the video.
What are your thoughts?
So, Mexicans in general have always been a part of this fabric of what we call America.
Yes.
Okay. And they're not just Mexicans, because Mexicans are a genre of people.
Yes.
Including indigenous people like us.
Yep.
But to not appreciate indigenous people in this genre, like, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go for it.
when you watch TV, do you see our own people?
When I watch what?
When we watch TV,
yes,
or movies, do we see our own people?
No, you really don't. You rarely see any of us out there.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Go for it.
So, watching movies is a whole different thing because movies are, obviously they're fake, right?
Say that again.
Like people think movies are fake.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They're fictional. Fictional.
Yes.
It's fictional.
That's what they say.
It's a fictional thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a fictional thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you watch, like, Superman. Superman was a fictional character, right?
Right.
Right? Like Superman was a fictional. Superman and Batman and all those fictional characters, they made people a certain way. They're like, oh my God, I want to be like Batman and Superman, right?
Yeah.
But there hasn't been a Mexican part or an Hispanic part.
Yeah, you're right. There are
why has there been a black part? Even though, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Something that a lot of your listeners might not know. I'm gonna let you know, and you might even know about this.
Yeah.
Did you know that the black population is less than the Mexican American population? Did you know that?
Wait, say that again.
The black population is lower than the actual Mexican American population.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
Not the Hispanic American population, but the Mexican Americans, those who consider themselves Mexican Americans, are higher than the whole black American. But there's movies like, the Black Panther.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, all the commercials are all black.
Mm.
Like, look at the commercials. They're all black.
Yeah.
All of them are black. All of your characters are black. Why? Why do they have to, why can't they not include Hispanic Americans in there?
Yeah, you would think.
Why do they have to
right?
be all black? Why do they have to be all black?
Yeah. I mean, that's the way Hollywood is, man. That's the way they work. They're the ones in control. They got the keys. But you know
why
what?
Does it have to be that?
But I'm glad you brought that up too, because right now there's a group. There's not a group, but a company called Chicano Hollywood. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Chicano Hollywood. If you guys aren't familiar with it, go check out Chicano Hollywood on their Instagram. Follow them, support them, because you know why? Because they're going above and beyond to represent us and to put more of us on those movies. And they truly need our support as a community to back them up and follow them and like all their posts, because they every day they message our people, hey, we got a job for you guys. Come through. Whoever wants this job, come get it. And I'm in those group messages with Chicano Hollywood, and every day they're always putting out jobs for us to go and show up for them. But at the end of the day, it's up to us to show up. If we don't show up, we're not gonna be in it. If we lag it and we say next time, we're just slowing down the process. So we do definitely have to do our part to show up.
Hey, before I go,
Yeah.
And I thank you for your time.
You got it, man.
In Southern California, do you know that we're like 90% of the population?
Oh, I believe that. I believe that. I've always said we've been the majority. We've been the most population here. We have babies like rabbits. We have like 10 kids to each family. not so much anymore, but
Hispanics they start waking up.
Yeah.
And they need to stop praising people, rappers.
Yeah.
Because these rappers are not your friends.
Mm-mm.
They're not your friends. They don't know you. You don't know them.
Yeah.
Not to mention that a person like Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Ice Cube. Listen to Ice Cube. Ice Cube pushes for black agenda.
Yes.
So if a person like Ice Cube can push a black agenda, which is okay with
Definitely.
me, but a person like Ice Cube to push black agenda, and he's somewhere like, oh my God, he's still pushing for black agenda.
Yes, he is.
He's still pushing for black agenda. Imagine that a person like Ice Cube is still pushing for black agenda.
Yeah, even if it makes it look bad.
And he's only pushing for black agenda.
You know the crazy part about that is that a lot of the black community actually went against him for doing that. That was wild for me. Like, this guy is literally trying to fight for you guys to get your money, get your careers, get what you should be getting. And they actually turned on Ice Cube. I thought, wow, that's wild. This guy is literally fighting and making himself look bad to fight for the black agenda.
There's two people. Ice Cube is pushing for personal agenda, which means the way that we've already been fighting. So, do you know that Mexicans don't have to push for the way that black people are fighting? Because Mexicans are already fighting. They're already working on the streets.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Selling your vegetables and los vatos que te venden la verdura. You know what I'm saying? Like, and los cougars, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's fools that are pushing for reparations.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So reparations is totally something different that I don't have a fucking word to do with it because I'm not white and I'm not black and I don't want to have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So black people, no reparations because we're not paying for it. Later.
And there you have it, people. There you have it. And speaking about promoting for our culture, I did want to bring this up because I don't know how this happened, but I'm definitely humbled and honored that this happened. So there's going to be an event called Summer Nights in Hollywood. You can see that Be Real, Reverie, Sarah La Morena, Yellow Hill, Rowdy Rags, Zoe Osama, Indo, Amanda Perez, Jay Amador, Young Greedy. They're gonna be performing at this event. And it's gonna be in Hollywood. It's gonna be a cool spot. There's definitely a lot of parking too. I mean, if you get there early, it's gonna be on September 28th. And as you can see, they put my mug right there as a special guest. And mind you, there's actually a lot of people that are special guests. But you know what? I'm definitely humble because this is the first time I ever get to see myself on one of these flyers. And I honestly never thought that would happen. But I am glad. And a big shout out to Big Joe Castro, because he is definitely one of the guys that made this happen. So much love to him. And as you can see, Chicano Hollywood is part of it. Bobby D Presents is also part of it. There's a lot of people that are trying to create something for us to make us be represented in the right way, where the world can see us, where we have our movement, we have our seat at the table. And caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Mike from St. Louis.
Hey, Mike, how's it going, man?
Hey, how's it going? Hey, I had a question for you, Norby's.
Go for it.
Like in terms of like media and all that, where do you get most of your info from? Like from Instagram, YouTube, or from where? Reading books?
Websites. I get it mostly from websites, like anything that's more up to date also, because as you know, a lot of the stuff gets updated. So it's tough to go back and look at the older stuff because a lot of times they find new information, the research changes. So you always got to keep up to date. And you'll do that on the websites that are obviously more up to date. And you could see by the way they date it and their information, as far as their references, you could see where they got it, when they got it, and how updated it is, which is important. It's important to make sure that it's updated because you could see something and put it out there, but later on you'll find out that it had been updated and it's no longer the same fact as it used to be. So I go to multiple sources as far as getting my information. I mean, mind you, I probably should start. There's a fancy English word for it. I was gonna say MLA, but I don't think that's the same thing.
MLA.
It's an old. It's like an English thing. I guess.
Format, right?
Yeah, format. MLA format. There you go. Where I think you have to put your references.
Oh yeah. Where you put your works cited, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone's complaining, like, where'd you get this info? And then that way you can just upload it to somewhere.
Yeah, and you know what?
And just have it.
The good part is, and I'm gonna tell you guys, when it comes to reading, my eyes get tired. I get sleepy. I can't really read the whole thing. I don't know. I think they call it, they have a name for it, but because of technology, I could listen to an entire book word for word and actually get it and absorb it. Whereas if I had to read a whole ass book to myself, I will be asleep before the first chapter ends. So
really? So you do audio books or what?
Yes, I do audiobooks. And for websites I use if you have an Apple phone and you use Safari, there's actually an option in Safari where Safari would actually read the website to you.
Oh, okay, nice.
So you could make it read it for you.
That's weird because I'm the opposite. When I hear stuff, I'm kind of like doing stuff, so I kind of get distracted and I have to listen to it again and again.
Yeah.
I'm actually a type of person where if I read it, it'll stick to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's good, man, because if I read it, then sometimes I'll reread it again, but I get it more when I read it versus when I listen to it. Because usually when I'm listening to something, I'm doing other stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I guess I kind of like multitask.
Yeah.
And you just kind of, it's more like background noise at that point. But what was I going to say? Yeah, man, because a lot of people, they'll say, oh, I did my research, and then you just watch some bunch of stupid videos on YouTube or whatever, or Facebook posts, and like, oh, I did my research.
You know what? When somebody...
back then...
Yeah.
What was I going to say? I forgot. Oh, well, back then when people did research, they actually had to go to the libraries, right, and crack open the books and read them. Now, read newspapers and shit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, for me, I do get those videos, and they do sound interesting, but I've already learned a long time ago, if you have to research whatever people send to you, because there's a lot of fake stuff out there. And you gotta cross your T's and O's, and you gotta make sure that that is actually real. Like, and I'm gonna put Tony out there. Tony from time to time would send me like Instagram videos, and he would actually tell me, are like, hey, do you think this is real? Like, man, this is crazy. Like, man, I can't believe this person did so and so. So every time I would check, and then I would have to confirm. And sometimes here and there, I would show them like, nah, that's fake. Like for instance, the whole thing with the what's it called, the Hell's Angels and the Mongols going to like Colorado to go in free an apartment from the evil Venezuelan gang. That was 100% fake. There was no reports.
Yeah, come on. You would think a criminal organization is going to say, "Oh yeah, we're going to do this."
Yeah, but it got spread out so much that people started believing that shit. And then I had to tell him, I had to send him like 2 reports. Look at these reports. They're all saying that it's all fake. That there's nobody that has claimed any of that stuff is happening. Somebody is just creating that, just to create a new narrative. Venezuelans are bad. They're taking over apartment buildings.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, the reason I brought up the whole research thing is because I'm kind of doing like a little project of mine right now.
Yeah.
It's like a little self project, nothing big, but
yeah.
Because I know, today everyone's using social media like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, etc.
Yeah.
I don't know how long you've been using the internet, dude, but like I remember 2008. I think it was YouTube and Facebook were kind of around, but not super big. So back then, people on the internet used websites more than the social media.
Without revealing my age, I could definitely say I've been using the internet since 1994.
Oh shit, dude! That means you blew past me.
Yeah, I've been using it
on it since 2008.
Yeah.
So you use dial-up and shit, right?
Yes, dial-up. I still remember trying to figure that shit out, and as a kid, it was fun figuring it out. It took me like a few days to like actually figure out how to install the program, how to use the modem, how to use the dial-up stuff. I mean, it was a blessing when they finally came out with these filters for your telephone line, because before you had to connect the modem directly. And then later on, they came up with filters so that it could bypass it, and you could still use your phone while you're on the internet.
They remember DSL?
Yeah, man. I mean, my first computer was a Packard Bell.
A what?
A Packard Bell. Then, I mean, most people wouldn't know that computer brand anymore because it doesn't exist. It was, I think, actually, no, I take that back. I think it's now Hewlett Packard. But originally, it was Packard Bell.
I was going to say, but yeah, Matt, do you remember using Google and YouTube? Back then, it was like, it was a free-for-all. I mean, Google, you could like type whatever and then it would come up.
Oh,
now I have to use like, I don't.
Yeah, no,
are you familiar with pre-search?
No, not really.
Now.
My first search engine I would say would be Netscape. That would be my first one, or even Prodigy, maybe America Online. But I remember when Google first came out. I remember and I was young too, because I tell you right now, I knew Google was gonna be big when I was the only one using it. Everybody like, well, why do you keep using Google? Why do you always have to say, yeah, let me look it up in Google? Because it was a very good search engine. But man, I wish I would have invested fucking money in that shit. Because that was even before Google even bought YouTube.
Yeah, that was the good days of YouTube, right? Like, look up anything.
I was able to get my email with my actual full name. That's how much of the first ones I was. I was actually able to use my actual name. I was like, damn. Everybody's shocked.
I always use like fake names and shit.
Yeah, well, I do too now because I learned the lesson on that one. But
yeah, because even back then I don't know if you watch like conspiracy videos, because I do, even since 2008. Back then, there was a lot of paranoia about 2012, and then it finally happened in 2020, right?
Yeah.
But I had another point. What the heck was my point? I guess just how people used websites back then, and now everyone's using social media, and like how you said right now about the Venezuelan thing on Instagram.
Yes.
It just like all this fake news gets spread like easy now. Back then, it was kind of more difficult.
Yeah.
And and then what else? Yeah, pretty much it. Oh, actually, one last thing about the food. You were talking about food, right?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know if there's a question or not, but it's like, what are these restaurants? Because look, okay, we tried Mexican food here in LA, right? And then I'm sure you tried it in Mexico, and it's way better over there and different.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like, how do these restaurants here in LA say they're the best when? I mean, I'm assuming they source their food from the same people, don't they?
As far as ingredients.
Yeah, like they all. I mean, I'm assuming they get them from the same company. So then, like, how can you say you're the best if you get it from the same place?
Well, yeah, that really depends on who's making things by scratch, who's using their own recipes, their own measurements, their own ways of making their food. That I think that's the important part right there, because you could definitely say they all buy their ingredients from the same place, which in LA it would be a place called Restaurant Depot. I think the majority of the restaurants in Los Angeles get their ingredients over there.
From where?
Restaurant Depot.
Oh, that's what it's called? Oh, okay. I didn't even know that. Oh, cool.
Yeah. There's a place called
I remember I used to work at a spot where we delivered food, and I got food from Sam's, and I took it to the restaurant. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know they got from Sam's.
Ah, man. Well, all right, man. Do you have any more questions? Because I'm getting a bunch of calls, and I want to get to them.
Oh, yeah, because I know in LA it's kind of more difficult, but like if you go out to the country, right?
Yeah.
Try to look for restaurants where they grow their own food and vegetables. Like there was this one spot in Ojai. I forgot the name of it.
Yeah.
But it's in Ojai, and they grow their own chickens. And then I don't think they like, take them out right there, but like I'm sure they took them out before. You know what I'm trying to say, right? They grow them and you can eat them there.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys go to the country outside the city, try to check out those spots. It's good food. But all right, I'll let you go late.
All right, man. Thanks for that info.
Later.
I appreciate you. Later, man. It's always good to get info from different places. I did miss a few calls. I opened up the line now, so if you want to give a call, give a call. So, again, going back to this, am I pointing right? This flyer right here. So, it's going to be a good night. It's going to be fun. Caller, your name, where are you calling from?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Risky Business, a.k.a. Jay from West Texas. Is that right?
South Texas.
South Texas. Wait, Lada's is from West Texas. Sorry, my apologies.
Hey, it's Friday the 13th. Well, I'm surprised you didn't make the show about that or something like that.
That's Tony's thing. I don't believe in that stuff. I mean, but it is odd. It's odd that a lot of things in society have the number 13 related to it. I don't know why that is.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna piggyback on like what maybe 2 or 3 callers back was talking about. You guys were saying that that there's not enough raza, I guess, right, or enough Mexicans, or enough representation of that, like in Hollywood and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and well, my thought on that is that there's not enough support, bro, because right, and you see, because we wouldn't even know what to call it, right? Like, do we call it raza? Do we call it Mexicanos? Do we call it Chicanos? Do we call it Mexican American?
Brown people.
So all of those, right? And there's many more. So
yeah.
Because of all those titles, there wouldn't be enough people to get behind a different title. You know what I mean?
No, like, you're right. I mean, you're right. That Latin X thing really fucked things up.
No, but not even just Latinx, like just the.
No, I mean,
board,
just adding to
like,
it, just adding to the titles.
Yeah, definitely. That adds another title in there. So I think that's why, bro. That would have a big part to doing it, because the black community is now. Yeah, there are different middle pockets, right? But that is just the black community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like. They're not that divided the way that we are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, for example, if you get some Mexicans up there, right, in Hollywood, then I think it'd be the same as music, right, or as anything else, that maybe Chicanos or Mexican Americans would be like, oh, well, they would write it off as like, oh, well, that's just some fight.
But you know, it's interesting.
You know what I mean?
It's interesting that you would point that out because I do see a situation where that might play out, as far as like, let's say, the movie, the Black Panther movie, the second one, with the character Namor, right?
Mm-hmm.
That actor that played Namor is Mexican, like he's from Mexico. One of these Mexican Americans from here could have easily been bitching, like, well, why couldn't they hire one of us? Why the guy hired the Mexican guy? We're Mexican Americans.
That's what I'm saying.
But
Yeah,
thankfully, that wasn't the situation as far as that movie, because I didn't hear any Mexican Americans that were like complaining that, hey, why they give the job to the Mexican guys and those Mexican people.
Yeah, because what I get from the Mexican American people, right, when you ask them the question, okay, Mexican American, and you ask the tough question or the uncomfortable question of like, you know, well, you're Mexican American, but hypothetically speaking, let's say Mexico goes to war with the United States, right?
Right.
Well, then who are you gonna side with in that war? And you know, the majority are gonna say, well, American, because I'm American first. You know what I mean? So there's really no unity. There is no support for anything, whether it's music or movies in Hollywood or whatnot. You know.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna definitely have to disagree with you on that part about whose side they would choose, because I truly do believe that we Mexican Americans would choose Mexico. At the end of the day, we will choose Mexico. And I'll even add this part.
What a poll.
I'll even add this part that, you know what, I will. But I'll even add this part. The Mexican president AMLO even stated, because a Republican senator, I think, was trying to make claims that they are ready to invade Mexico if need be, to stop the cartels from distributing their supplies in the U.S. And they're willing to step into Mexico with their military and deal with that. Whereas the Mexican president, AMLO, responded by saying, you're not going to do that. You're not going to send your military here. And then if it ever came to that point where, you know, we would have to go against you, you're too late. My people have already invaded that place, your place. My people are already there. So
yeah,
even
I
AMLO has. No, go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that. Yeah, I know that's been a conversation for some years now, where the United States, if the United States declares the cartels as terrorist groups, then they will be able to do that. You know, but until they can do that, then that's definitely not gonna happen.
No.
But yeah, but you'd be surprised, man. You'd be surprised, like I said. And you know, you might be proven wrong there with what you said, that, you know, most Chicanos or Mexican Americans would side with Mexico. But go ahead and do your research on that, and you know, I think you'll find otherwise of what you're thinking.
Yeah, well, we'll find out right now. Live chat, I put up the poll that Risky Business has suggested. Let us know because I can assume quite a good amount of number are Mexican American or Mexican on here. So we want to know what you would do if that situation had happened. And so far,
and that's from both sides, you know what I mean? Because, okay, let's just say the Chicano, right, gets up there, Hollywood or whatever, really makes it. And I think that from the Mexicanos, right, you'd get like, oh, well, that's just some pochos up there or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, It's fucked up, bro. It's fucked up. That's the reality. but that's where we're at as a people,
Yeah, I mean, but and this is why I say we live in a good time right now because technology is very much more accessible to us. Communication, it has become a lot stronger between all of us. Information has become more available. So now a lot of us can now do better research, better communication, and I think at some point we are going to come together and realize that we're all the same and we all want the same thing and we should all get the same thing because we work hard for all of this. We're here. This is our place. How are we the ones that are always in the kitchen, serving the plates, washing the dishes, taking them, cleaning their homes, taking care of their babies, fixing their gardens? Why are we always those people? But our kids are getting smarter, they're getting better, and little by little, they're taking over those other positions that these people used to hire us for. Now our kids are taking those positions. And their kids are going to take higher positions. It's happening. We're growing and we're communicating. And we're honestly, I do feel that we're on the rise as far as being better. Because before, I would say early 2000s, we didn't have it that well. And they tried to throw in new lingos and new shit to fuck with our heads. But now we're doing this. Me and you, we're talking. And we're talking with other people, and we have other people that are listening, and it's getting better.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and look, this is why I recommend, right? Because right? Like I truck drive, so I'm always everywhere, right? So
yeah,
I can wake up in one state and go shut it down in a different state.
Yeah.
And traveling outside. It could just be within the United States, right? But traveling outside of your area, for us as Mexicanos, raza, everything, right?
Yeah.
It gives you a better perception of what we're really viewed as in the quote unquote white man's eye. Because look, yesterday we were having that discussion, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't point this out, but this is part of where I was coming from as well.
Yeah.
Because look, yesterday, okay, so let's just say me, you, your guest, right?
Yeah.
Three different points of views, right?
Yeah.
We can call it three different shades of Mexicano, right?
Yes.
And me, you, and him are discussing our points, right? And maybe arguing our points. But at the end of the day, to the white man, we're the same.
Yeah.
No matter if you want to call yourself Chicano, if you want to call yourself indigenous.
You're right.
If I'm going to call myself Mexicano, to the white man, we're the same. It don't matter.
You know what? That's what I tell black people. At the end of the day, they see you and me the same. They don't want us here. I don't know. They do, but they just want us working for them.
Yeah, but that's a good point right there to start. To where we can divide ourselves. We can be divided amongst ourselves, but at the end of the day, where's the real fight at? Where's the real oppression at?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
As far as oppression, I could definitely say in Hollywood there was definitely an oppression as far as not hiring Mexican Americans or Mexicans. They would rather hire a Puerto Rican, a Cuban, even a Spaniard to play Mexican roles. That's why I say when I think of La Bamba, it did disappoint me when I found out more than half of them aren't even Mexican, and it was based on a Mexican American family. So that sense, I would say that would be a form of oppression because they went out of their way not to hire a Mexican, and I could honestly say they were Mexican actors at that time.
Yeah, but look, Mexico, bro, is so close that if you just turn your eye that way, you know what I mean, you'll find out. And I'm sure you're aware, right? But you'll find out that Mexico has huge movie stars. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what they say.
Comedians, movie stars, singers, everything. You know what I mean?
Well, they say. Go ahead.
But the problem lies with what I just said earlier.
Yeah.
That, for example, let's just your guest yesterday, your co-host, he would discredit that, right? He would say, "Yeah, well, that just caters to a certain," and I'm not just picking on him, right?
Yeah.
People with that view, right?
Yeah.
I would say they would discredit that, and they would say, "Yeah, but they're not doing it for my people, right? They're not doing it for this." Like, and we go back to square one of no support.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I definitely know what you mean, and I definitely want to add this part that they say that if you want to make it big in the world, you have to go to Mexico. You have to. If Mexico loves you, you could make it worldwide. I mean, as far as music, as far as acting, if you could really make it in Mexico, you could make it worldwide. Whereas in the U.S., if you make it in the U.S., you only make it in the U.S. Nobody gives a fuck who you are outside of the U.S. But if you make it in Mexico, everybody from Mexico to South America will know who you are. And even in China, they will know who you are. Quite possibly in Africa, more than likely in Spain. But if you ever want to make it big as far as music or acting, Mexico is definitely one of the best places to go and make it.
Is that based on just because there's just raza everywhere?
The what?
I'm saying, is that based on because like there's raza everywhere? So like if you make it in Mexico, like
No. That's
like all the countries. So.
That's because musically, everybody that has the biggest careers, the richest artists, musicians, they all either had to go to Mexico or are from Mexico. That's just numbers. The richest artists had to have become famous in Mexico to be the richest artists. You think the artists in the U.S. are rich? Then they don't make shit compared to the artists that make it in Mexico, because they make worldwide money. A lot of them do.
And you know what? As you say that, what pops into my mind is like, I guess it's the same thing as like politics here in the United States. Like everybody's after the raza vote. So is that like similar? It just like go in there and get their support money wise.
Yes. I mean, to politics it'd be like get the raza's vote at any cost. And then you have some fake raza perpetrators. You do. You really do. You really do.
Trying to cater to the raza. And when I see that shit, I can see right through that shit. I'm like, man, you just just call it what it is. You just have to, you just have to.
No, some of them play really well. Some of them play period. Like the most recent one, it's a female she's a city council member for Los Angeles. Her name is Eunice Hernandez. And when she started her campaign, she really went grassroots with it. She really started like pushing the message that we all want to push. More rights for us, more money, more funding for programs. She did the whole thing. She really sold us on it. And now that she got the position, now that she has the power, now she's catering to landlords. So she really suckered all of us. Eunice Hernandez, you guys could look her up. Thankfully the communities are turning their backs on her now. They're calling her out for her sellout ways, and I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to see that because of technology, we could start talking. That's why I tell people, look up who's in charge of your district. Look at which council member is in charge of your area. And go to their Instagram page. Go to their TikTok page. Tell them how you feel in the comments. Don't DM them because they could hide that. Go to their comment section and actually tell them what you feel needs to happen in your community. Because before, you had to make an appointment. You had to go visit their office. You had to make a phone call. You had to write a letter. Now you could put all that shit publicly on Instagram. You could put pressure on your representative on Instagram. Hey, you might even find, if you're in my area, you might even find me on their pages telling them, hey, you need to fucking do something about this. Because now we have social media to tell them that they need to fix these problems for us.
Yeah, and you know what the red flag is? To me anyways, automatic red flag.
Democrat?
If no. As an individual, right? As an individual, regardless of what side, you know, they cater to as far as left or right. If they're Mexicanos, Chicanos, Latinos, you know, whatever they title themselves to be, and if they have a Spanish name, but if they pronounce that motherfucker in English, that tells me, right? And it should tell everybody, you know,
Rodriguez,
who they're catering, who they're catering to.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. That's true. But you got to also understand that some of these third generation Mexican Americans, it's very difficult. They never learned Spanish at all, and because they're third generation, or fourth generation, some even sixth, and they just adopt the English and just keep to it. Because I don't know if you know this, but right here in LA, there were actually some families that were ashamed that they could speak Spanish. So they would tell their kids to not learn Spanish, to only learn English so they can fit in with the European Americans on the West Side. That actually happened out here. It's a disgrace,
they're a disgrace to the gente.
Yeah, but at the same time, they wanted to make sure that their kids had a shot with the European Americans on the West Side, because at the end of the day, you want your kids to win. You want your kids to make their money. And you don't really consider the fact that you know, your roots are what makes you stronger. It was a tough time in LA, and if you could look light enough and not have an accent, you had a better chance of having a better life in LA. That's just how it was.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. As a kid, it's all good, right?
Yeah.
But once you become an adult, right, and once you you know, once you get, I would say, once you become closer to your roots, whatever they are, you know, going back to Mexico, and if you're trying to get the gente's vote, you know, like, take a little bit more pride in who you're addressing, right? Because if you're addressing the quote-unquote paisas, right, which I just call Mexicanos, right, but you know, that's a different topic. So if you're trying to get their vote, if you're trying to cater to them, but you're pronouncing your name in English, you know, that's disrespectful, bro. That's disrespectful. Again, I go back to that shows who you're trying to cater to, you know.
Yeah.
Because you'd rather your name sound white, right?
Yeah.
To make it right, than to actually pronounce it the way it is.
Well, I mean, some people have a tough time to roll their R's.
But an effort is better than just completely butchering your name for the white man.
you can't stand hearing Rodriguez. Rodriguez. Hernandez.
Yeah, bro.
Hey, Risky.
Hey,
I gotta let you go, man, because I got like 5 calls that I missed talking to you.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I was waiting for you, shit.
All right, man. Well, I'm gonna let you go, and I'm gonna get to these other callers, and I'll probably call it a wrap soon.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. It was good talking with you, man. I'll talk to you in the next one.
All right.
All right. Yeah, you know what? It's right though. He's right though. I mean, we definitely need to find more common ground with each other so that we can unite. And again, going back to this guy Sorry, this guy right here. There's gonna be an event that is an event that would bring the community together so that we can. I think I know who this is. Caller, your name? Where are you calling from?
Excuse me?
Hey.
Hello?
Yes.
Hey, how are you?
Good, man. And yourself? How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing well. How are you?
All right. Let us know your name and where you're calling from.
Excuse me. Sorry. My name is Juan.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to call in and say I'm listening to the whole conversation, and you know, everybody has a valid observation as far as what they're going to, you know, as far as things are going.
Yeah.
I just want to ask you one question, though.
Go for it.
What got you into what you're going through? Like, what got you into what? Like, what was the one thing that got you into this podcast spectrum? Like, what was the one thing that said, "Oh my God, I want to do this"?
As far as
speak to people.
Oh, speak to people. Well, as far as speaking to people, I've been doing that since I was a kid. I think a lot of people have that thing where either people just start talking to you or you just start up a conversation just because, you know, you're curious. Hey, how are you? How you doing? Are you okay? What's going on? You know, you just start up a conversation. And I've always been that kind of person. I've always been a very expressive person. Mind you, sometimes it does get me in trouble. But
yeah, but as far as like political stuff, like you're very political and you're very like you're very political.
You know what? But political part, the political part was always every time I would hear the news, the people say that Mexico is one of the poorest countries in the world. It's a third world. And that's where my parents are from. And it always made me wonder, really, is it that bad? Because I've been there. I mean, it's beautiful. There's like fruits and animals and everything you could need to like survive. I mean, the only thing they don't have are like what you would consider modern homes that are built. I mean, they did have homes that are made out of adobe, like Risky Businesses, you know, family and back in Mexico. But for the most part, I wanted to see, is Mexico really that poor? Is it really that bad that they don't have shit? Because I've been there and I've seen things and they have resources. And then I look up that the richest guy in the world is from Mexico. How is it that a country that everyone considers the poorest country in the world has the richest guy, which is some guy named Smooth? He was in charge of the telecommunications in Mexico. And I'm like, how the fuck is it that this guy is the richest guy in the world? From Mexico. And then you do more research. You're like, wait, they have oil there? But they don't have refineries. They have
Did you know that,
resources. I'm sorry, go.
I'm sorry to interrupt. But did you know that it was just like people, they just said that the 12th, or I think it was the 12th or 13th most I think the GDP in other world was Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah.
The the 13th most richest country in the world is Mexico.
Yeah, as far as resources, yeah.
So I don't know how they still say that Mexico is still excuse me, how it's still like third world. It's not because Americans by droves are moving to Mexico and living over there.
Yes.
Like white Americans
Yes.
are moving over there. But like like the country is still like the third. Like I just saw that it was like it's the 13th most what's the GDP?
The GDP, I'll tell you right now.
It's the gross domestic product, right?
Yeah, and then it has definitely gone higher
You know what that means?
since AMLO took over also.
It means that they produce the most products in the world. So Mexico is not a third world country.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Mexico, they want to portray it as a third world country because it's under Mexico. It's under America. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
No. You're all right.
It's under America, and they want to portray it as if it's second cousin, as if it was like a third world country, but it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
Mexico has the second most domestic products, and it also has the most domestic products, and it most, if yes, can look it up, has one of the most highest lithium
That's true.
in America, behind Africa, and everyone wants to take advantage of Africa, and everyone
Facts.
they're gonna take advantage of Mexico.
Facts.
So Mexico is not a third world country.
No, it's not. No, it is not. I found that out at a very young age that it was not. And that it was actually just due to all these corrupt politicians from Mexico that made it look like that. But in reality, it's one of the richest countries.
Do not move to America. Mexicans do not want to move to America. Mexicans do not. They just want to make a living. And if they come back and they go back to Mexico, excuse me.
No, you're doing great. No, thank you. You know what? Oh, okay, he clicked. I want to give him a special thanks because it took him a lot of courage to call in and, speak on facts. And as all of you guys know, I love facts, and I would definitely want to thank the caller that called in and reminded us that Mexico is not a third world country. They definitely do have a high GDP. That's for damn sure. And 2022, Mexico's GDP was 1.466 trillion US dollars. Does that make sense? But okay. Yeah. So again, going back to this event, I mean, if you are in LA or near the LA area, I would definitely encourage you to come through, come say hi to a lot of I guess you would call them influencers, a lot of artists, a lot of people that are trying to grow in the community to represent us and, have fun with you guys. Let you guys know, hey, we're here. We want to be a part of your parties, be a part of your events, be with you guys in this journey to represent us. All right, this is the last caller. Caller, your name, where are you calling from? Caller?
Norby.
Hey, what's
What
up,
up,
man?
Norby?
What up, man?
It's Brad Pipple. Hey,
Oh,
don't
Brad
hang up on me
Pitbull?
like you did last time.
Nah, it ain't
Yeah,
last time. What's up, man? How you doing tonight?
Here, playing in the mud like that other caller said.
Hey.
Hey, but hey, from yesterday.
Yeah.
I know we're talking about today, but yesterday, I believe that the female president of Mexico.
Yeah.
They put her in charge. She's going to be the first Jew in charge of Mexico.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
That just shows who controls the world.
Yeah.
Close,
Yeah, I'm losing you, Brad. I'm losing you. You're fading out.
Okay.
There you go.
There.
You're back.
I'm looking at my poster of Spencer Baca. It gave me a liquid for strength.
Hey.
But yeah, man. That and I forget what else I was going to talk about. I just wanted to make that point yesterday, but then my phone cut off.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it, man. I'm lost in the sauce, and I've been looking at some Navajo traditions, man.
Oh, you have?
It's off topic, yeah. And I learned that the reason that they smoke tobacco is because they believe that if when you inhale, that it knows even certain thoughts that you can't put into words. So when you exhale, it goes to the to the spirit.
Yeah.
And I was learning about burning sage, and then there's white sage, and then there's white sage that's grown locally, and which I haven't found, but to look into that. And
definitely no.
With the
Well,
dude,
yeah.
And then with the guy yesterday talking about different belief systems. I think we can look at different gods, right? Whether they're Aztec or Spaniard or Catholic.
Yeah.
The thing that I've learned recently is that the one above all, the creator, possibly there's a theory that the creator put us here on land, different people on different parts of the land.
Yeah.
And we're in charge of taking care of each part of that land.
Yeah.
And it deals with even with the white race of Brill, supposedly working with alien technology.
Nah, bro, I'm telling you, man, those European Americans definitely came over here and started really fucking shit up here.
Yeah. So like, and there's all sorts of shit now being found out with mRNA.
Oh my God! You know what? mRNA is an interesting technology. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. So I'm just but this year's been interesting, right? Because it's been just showing all sorts of shit, right? Like from the lasers, supposedly lasers being used in Hawaii to burn that place down.
Yeah.
To weather manipulation, to Trump almost getting blasted.
Yeah.
And then to Spencer Baca hiding in the shadows and being a shot caller for the Illuminati. But that's it, man. That's all I got to say. I'm gonna let some iPhone call in. Not to get I'm tired of seeing iPhones and the live chat being all bravo, but they never call in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they never do, right? I haven't gotten one.
Yeah, I'm in my car here. I'm gonna let them represent. Supposedly.
Okay.
Sorry, don't be.
All right, I'll see if they do.
Take my call.
All right, I appreciate you, man.
Stream more often, man.
Definitely, man. Thank you, man. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna stream more often because I've been lagging, and I'm definitely gonna keep going because it's fun, and you guys hang out with me, and there's always a cool ass vibe here, pretty much. All right, so we'll take one more caller. Let's see if it's somebody from the IE, and okay, this a little bit farther than the IE. Caller, your name and where you calling from?
Hello, Norby. This is Bosley from the Cosmos.
Holy crap, Bosley! It's been a minute since I've heard your voice. I'm glad to hear you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm glad you took my call. Your topics are getting very interesting, I gotta say.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All
and
right.
I'm so happy to see you doing so well now and going back to normal slowly but surely.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But do you have any insights as far as the topics? Any thoughts, opinions?
Well, thank you for letting me speak a little. I do have to say though tonight I am running a little fever,
Oh, okay.
and
I'm
if
sorry to
I'm
hear that.
talking kind of slow or I'm taking a minute to make my point, I do apologize. But I really like what you guys are talking about, and it makes me very happy that I can see that even though you guys live in LA, you guys still have Mexico and your roots in your heart. And I know there's a lot of confusion because I know that there's two histories, the real history and the false history. And the false history, unfortunately, is being taught to us here in the U.S. If you ever want to know the truth, you would have to go to Mexico and hear it from the side.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, I have to call right now the U.S., I have to call it the narcissist.
Yeah.
And a narcissist will always tell you lies, what you want to hear, will never tell you the truth. Yep. Because the narcissist is pretty much a criminal.
Yeah.
And one of these days, if you allow me, I want to invite you guys to go with me. I want to take you guys to the fourth dimension.
Interesting.
In the fourth dimension, you guys can see the truth. You can't see it right here in what they want to call the third dimension, because the third dimension, we're not even on the second dimension. We're barely in the first dimension.
Yeah.
But when you have your third eye open, like me, I can see a lot of the truth. And sometimes people say, "Oh, well, what is this crazy not talking about?" And the reason why that is because we can see many things that other people can't, and it's like you're being told one story and you believe it.
Yeah.
And then when the truth wants to come to you, it's like, no, I'm not going to believe that. It's too hard to believe that, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
So, I know you wanted to go now, but a little bit of AMLO, Andres Manuel López Obrador.
Yes.
I gotta say that AMLO, just to take you for a little bit into the fourth dimension.
All right.
AMLO, he has reincarnated many, many, many times.
Yeah.
And right now, he's got 4 spirits with him. His spirit as AMLO, he's a tiger. Okay, this is why they show him as a tiger in some of his the ads that they put, because of where he's coming from. In his tribe, they're tigers.
Yeah.
But on the third spirit, he happens to be Francisco y Madero. And on the other one, the other spirit is he's Benito Juarez. And the very one that I'm very fascinated for, and I keep on confirming it, and I keep on seeing it in the fourth dimension. And I just happened to see it yesterday when they started reporting that they found a humongous gold mine worth so many millions.
Really?
And yes,
in Mexico.
In Mexico. And what's going to happen with that is that it's going to be good for Mexico, but bad for us. But I'll get to that in a minute. So the one spirit that I am fascinated with, that I keep on seeing in AMLO, he is Cuauhtemoc.
Oh.
And Cuauhtemoc, yes, Cuauhtemoc. If you remember the story, the correct story, the true story, not the false story, Cuauhtemoc was captured by Hernán Cortés to try to force him to tell him where was the gold. But no matter how much they torture him, and the way they torture him is that they burn him with hot cooking oil, and they burn his feet. And for 2 years, him and I can't remember the other guy. I'll have that story more accurate later on with names and dates.
Okay.
And stuff like that. But my fever right now is killing me. But
No,
anyway,
I
I'll try to
understand.
make sense. So what they did to Cuauhtemoc, the spirit of the eagle, if you remember, he was the spirit of the eagle. I'll get to that one pretty soon too. So what they did to Cuauhtemoc is that they tortured him for 2 years, burning his feet. They would let him heal from the first burning, and then they would burn him again, and they would force him to walk. And they had him walk all the way to Honduras, where they finally hung him in a tree in Honduras, and that's where he died. And then he transformed into the spirit of the eagle. He became the eagle. He's the eagle that represents he's the eagle that represents our symbol in our Mexican flag. Okay, so so if you remember, his duty was to protect the gold in Mexico. And I know that it was a promise that gold was going to be recuperated, but Mexico had to go, the Mexicas and all that stuff had to go through some transformation. Many tribes were going to be fighting with one another and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that gold just returned just a couple of days ago. That is a gift from Cuauhtemoc to Mexico. It was the one gold that was protected, and trust me, that's just the beginning of the findings of the gold. There's going to be a lot more gold because, see, Mexico is not just a country. Mexico is its own world, and
Yes.
people don't want to know that.
Yes, that's
And
true.
the reason why, and the reason why America was very rich is because they were stealing all this gold and had in Mexico and the Mexicans suppressed for 60 years. And Andrés Manuel López Obrador has been talking about it all this time in his mañaneras, telling you guys the truth.
Yeah.
But I don't know where you guys are at.
No, you're right.
But all the people that have been present in his life, sometimes the spirit of Francisco y Madero kicks in, depending on what he's talking about. And right now, he also has Cuauhtemoc, and Cuauhtemoc is making phenomenal work. And he's the one who brought in all the gold. So the gold is already being discovered, and it's being found that this was the gold that Cuauhtemoc protected.
Yeah.
So maybe next time, if you remember all the little drawings inside the symbol of our flag, I know you guys remember the green, the white, the red. I know you guys remember the eagle, but there's this one tiny little thing other than the cactus, and that's where Cuauhtemoc fought the spirit of the eagle. The eagle fought the serpent. The serpent is the reptilians. And remember how I told you that Andrés Manuel López Obrador is a tiger?
Yeah.
Okay, and remember all of the drawings in Egypt where they have bodies of humans but with heads of a bird or other animals? It's because we all come from animals. Okay, we all come from animals. But the little reptilian that the eagle has in her hocico fighting her, do you know who is that representing? The reptilians, the American people, the gringos.
Yeah.
It's representing Hernán Cortés, because Hernán Cortés in the fifth dimension, he's a reptilian. And the reptilians were brought in You can call them also the fallen angels, but that's just the angel word is just to in disguise being reptilian. But the reptilians were brought in to mix in into our indigenous tribes, and this is why they call us mestizos. But we have a mixture of a little bit of reptilian in us, and this is why we can somehow blend and camouflage. And this is, we were created as being immigrants, and we were created to migrate intentionally into the U.S. because that's how Hernan Cortez, the reptilian, created it. But that's another story. Right now, I'm running up people to be able to.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. And you know what's interesting? That you brought up about the reptilians. That's true. They really are. They're really trying to mix with humans. Maybe for Halloween, I'll share this story about the reptilians. Not today, but I definitely have a story about reptilians and the female reptilians that are make attempts to get the males to reproduce, human males to have babies. Okay. But we'll talk that another day. We'll talk about Bosley. You know what? Thank you for all the info that you gave us tonight. It was really good info. And you know what? That gold couldn't come at a better time because from what I know, the value of gold just like shot up all of a sudden. Also.
Yeah, and just to reach that point is that you said something about Mexico being a third world country. Well, it was because of the bad last 5 presidents for the past 60 years, like AMLO said, that they, starting from Santana selling part of Mexico, and the U.S. having their nose in Mexican business.
Definitely.
They intentionally empowered the Mexicans to force them to travel and migrate to the U.S. to put us in their, what I call their concentration camps, because as you can see, our parents and grandparents and us have to work all the time being enslaved without reaching a good style of life. Hardly nobody has their own home in California or in anywhere because we've got to work 2 to 3 jobs.
Oh, yeah. You're right about that.
And the Mexicans were intentionally empowered to force them to migrate. And it was all an intention. And this is everything that AMLO speaks in his life.
That makes sense.
Mañanera.
That makes sense. I mean, the U.S. needed a workforce. Why not work with Mexico to force their people to go up north so they can have a workforce? It makes sense.
Yes, and this is exactly what AMLO's trying to explain to all of us. So the value of the Mexicans are going to go up, even in this country, and they're going to have more respect for us. Like AMLO says, we're free, and Mexico and its Mexicans have to be respected.
Yes, definitely. I 100% agree with that.
Yes. Well, thank you for taking my call.
No, thank you for calling, Bosley. I appreciate it. I'm glad you were the last caller because it was a really good one. So I definitely appreciate that for you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good night.
Good night. I hope you get better soon also. All right?
Oh, thank you so much, Norris.
You got
Bye-bye.
it. Bye-bye. All right, with that was the last call, and like I said, that was a good call. I'm glad she called because I have not heard Bosley in like a cool minute, and I'm glad I was able to hear her voice again and her information. She always has a lot of good information. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't mind going to a fourth dimension and finding out what's over there. Who knows? I want to say maybe I did when I took a few magic shrooms out there. I want to believe that maybe I actually did go to that fourth dimension. It was very interesting, and when I do the shroom episode, I'll talk about my experience with that and let you guys know about that. That being said, it's already about 10:35. We've been at it for a good minute now. We're gonna get out of here. Everybody, enjoy your weekend. Do something for yourself. Love yourself. Be with your family. know that you have a reason to be here. And much love to everybody. Much love to the live chat also. You guys are keeping it going. Much love to the callers. And again, if you have time this week, I don't think it's this weekend. It's next weekend, September 28th. If you're in LA or near LA, come check out this event where you're going to see me and a lot of other really cool people that I actually work with also be there. So if you got time, come through. We'll have a drink. There's a Taco Bell like a few blocks away from there. We might even have Taco Bell. Who knows? But that being said, thank you, everyone. I will see you in the next one. Much love to all of you. And do me a favor, hit the like button, put a comment in the comment section. It helps the algorithm. It helps us grow so that we can keep doing this and we can keep growing together. Other than that, thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Enjoy your weekend.